Waiting for YouTube to load up, and we in it. We back. We back. We back like we never left. Thank y'all for joining Sports Shorts and Passports, episode number 3. Today we're gonna get into the Cubs winning today against Colorado Rockies. There was a few good things that happened in there today. Michael Busch looked really good. The first baseman that they traded some prospects for from the Dodgers. You also had Seiya Suzuki having a really good game. You had Seiya Suzuki having a really good game with another home run. And then you actually had the Cubs up by a lot and then ending up letting the Rockies get back in the game, which, like, come on, man. Like, we can't keep doing that. You gotta put teams down. Like yesterday, and understand this is professional baseball, so I know teams not gonna just go away, right? But once you got them beat like how the Cubs had them beat, you got to win that game. So they did, but I think you should win it going away more. You had some critical errors that scored runs. You had another error by Christopher Morel, who is gonna probably commit his fair share of those right this year because he's not really like a third baseman by trade. He's just learning that. But then you also had a error by Nico Horner, which we can't have that right now from Nico. Like, we're going to need the best version of Nico Horner defensively. Like, we need his gold glove version again from last year because he's not hitting so far. So that's a problem. And then you can't compound it by having a bad defensive game, especially when you him. Like, Nico is probably one of the top defenders in baseball. So we want to see him doing well at all time and not committing errors or anything like that. So, yeah, let's rock it out. Let's get into these stats. Michael Busch, he went 3 for 3 with a RBI and a run. He got his batting average up from 150-something to start this game to 313, which, like, that's something you want to see. You want to see him doing good because the Cubs gave up a bit for him. Seiya Suzuki going 3 for 5, like 4 RBI, a home run. Seiya on fire. And I honestly believe that this is going to be a crazy year for him. When I was watching this game and just watching him so far this year, I think as long as he just can stay healthy, I think we can see like a 40, 100, 40, 120 type of year from Seiya. That's just if he stays healthy and he's consistent and he keeps hitting the way he is. Like, I think he could have a monster year hitting. So, yeah, the Cubs, they get out of this game with the win. A few relievers, like, kind of irked me. I thought Yancy Almonte was not great, and so far this year he's not looked good at all. Hector Neris blew the win for Ben Brown. As Ben Brown probably wanted that because he went 4. He came in after Luke Little was an opener for an inning. I guess Craig Counsell didn't want to put too much pressure on him by being like, yeah, go out there and win this game for us, So he just brought him in as a bullpen arm, and he pitched 4 innings, got 5 strikeouts. He looked good this game after getting shellacked by the Rangers, so that's good. You have Mark Leiter, whose splitter looked really good. He pitched an inning. And then you had Julian Merriweather, who gave up a run, but he looked his solid self. And then at the end of the game, Adbert Alzolay got the save for us, picking up where he kind of left off last year. And he got some strikeouts this game too, which is kind of concerning. You want him to get strikeouts. You don't want him to pitch to contact because pitching to contact closers don't really exist. Those guys are few and far. You don't have, you had Mariano Rivera, Mark Melancon for the Pirates, who didn't last long. Rod Beck was a kind of pitch to contact guy for the Cubs back in the day. You can't pitch to contact and close out games. You're gonna lose. So it's good to see Albert Alzolay get 2 strikeouts today. He did his thing in 1 inning pitched. But yeah, I really feel that the Cubs looked good. Nico Horner, that's two. That's his second error of the year so far, too, by the way. And he's not hitting that well. So I don't know what's going on with him, but this is unusual to see Nico in this place. But I think all that matters is the Cubs won, right? 9-8 over the Rockies. They get the sweep, get them out of here. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. That's the most important part. Last year, way too many games lost to teams that you should beat. You can't do that this year. If you want to make the playoffs, you want to be a credible team or playoff stamped team, you want to go into the playoffs, you want to go to the postseason, you got to win games like this. And they won the game, So that's all that matters. I don't know if I sound like I'm nitpicking, but I think it's just an awareness of where you have to be if you want to win games and be a solid team. Excuse me, guys. And so, yeah, that's a great game. Cubs win 9-8. The other thing I wanted to get into was the White Sox. So the White Sox did not, it's crazy. They did not play their game today in Chicago, but the Cubs did. Now, I understand that the Braves may have a schedule to stick to, so they left. But I think, honestly, it's a deeper type of situation than that they just didn't want to play in cold or the weather was bad. One thing is, I'm sure the Braves had to get away, so they didn't want to stay for any extended period of time. But I also believe that the White Sox did this in order to because they know the summer months, they'll have more fans coming to the game. You'll get more residual walk-ups, right? So they were they probably never wanted to play this game in the first place. They probably want this game to go later in the year, which gives them more home games while it's warm in Chicago. And that alone drives more than in a cold game, you're probably going to get 100 people in that place. Now I'm playing. They probably drive 5,000 or whatever, right? In a cold day, just because people want to see the Braves as well. You got people that were flying in from Atlanta, the other game, cheering on the Braves. So I think that you're going to get a good amount of crowd into Chicago or coming to the game for that because the Braves are just such a good team that people want to see them. They probably going to have a historical season. But you're also going to get, I think, a bigger crowd when it comes to, summertime, July. They postpone the game to July. In Chicago, summertime, it's nothing like it. And going to a Sox game is an experience. Even if they're not good, people still going to come to the stadium in the summertime. I always go to a Sox game in the summertime just because it's so affordable. And honestly, it's really fun. You get to sit out there, yell at, respective other teams or your team and, drink moderately priced beers because just beer at the Cubs Stadium is out of control. But it's not even about the price. I think it's about the price because the Sox tickets are cheap, but it's not about the price in the sense of once they get you in, you spend it, you're spending your money. So I think that game is delayed today because they could have waited and played that game later, but instead they were you know what? Nah, we're going to play this game in July. And it's because they were thinking with their pockets and not with their, heart. So that's why I think you don't get a Sox game today. They rather push it back to when it's warmer and when they'll get more fans, walk-up fans and residual fans coming to the game. And then plus the Braves will probably be even more bigger of an attraction and a draw because they will be having a better season and they will have a crazy record at that time probably. And that'll be not just only Atlanta Braves fans will want to come see them. You'll just have baseball purists wanting to come and see the Sox get their brains bashed in by this team, which may not happen if Garrett Crochet pitch, he just pitched a really good game against them the other day. So that's my theory on the Sox not playing today. Take it or leave it. If you think I'm wrong, comment, let me know what you think about that. Everybody, please like and subscribe. I know I didn't say it at the beginning of the channel or the beginning of the stream, but I'm fairly new. I'm still learning. I'm still doing what I got to do. I'm still getting into this. And for the final subject of things I want to get into, we gonna keep this short and sweet today, just because the Cubs only played. I I'm freezing, right? My bad, y'all. Since I'm a bigger fan of the Eastern Conference of basketball, I'm gonna get into that first. I'm like freezing. I can see myself freezing because I'm trying to um, scroll. But okay, we back. So Boston is at the top at a 60-16 record. Like the closest team to them in the East is Milwaukee, 13 games back. The next team, 14 games back. And like everybody outside of the number, like Boston already just clinched a playoff seed today. Like they're good. They could just sit their whole team. The Bucks, they fired Adrian Griffin to keep Doc Rivers, and they still haven't looked good since. So we'll see how that goes. Cleveland, I don't know. Cleveland is an interesting team. Like Cleveland, they got something there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. And like they're 46-30. The Bucks are 47-39, and the Magic are 45-31. And the Knicks are 44-31. So these teams are all within like a 2-game window of each other. So as far as like 2 through 5, that could be anybody's. We don't know that yet. We do know that Boston is in. And then after that, you got the Pacers, who fell to the 7th seed. You know what I mean? Well, after the Knicks, you have the Miami Heat in the 6th seed, the Pacers, who fell to 7th. But they really tied with Miami, but it's just a drastic fall off for the Pacers to me, to be like the Pacers were like top 3 this year, and then now here they are, 7th seed. They might have to play in a play-in, which would suck. Philly got the same situation, but we can kind of understand that because Embiid got hurt. They are the 8th seed, which like they're a dangerous 8th seed. I don't think Boston should be afraid, but they may push Boston to the brink if they end up being the team that comes out of the play-in, and they may like tire out that team a little bit more so that the next series they'd be zonked. They don't really have it to really compete hard against them. So that's going to be interesting. Those 2 last seeds are teams that actually were playing better than what they are now, but Philly may end up playing better just because they just got Embiid back. So we'll see how that goes. That's the East Coast Conference. Give me 1 second. Okay, and then now we're going to get into the Western Conference, in which is like coming down to like a 3-way tie for the number 1 spot in the West. Honestly, Minnesota, Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, and Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma just lost today to Boston by like 30 points. And they're in the top 3 of seeds. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see a lot of competition from most of these teams outside of giving Boston competition. Outside of Denver and the Clippers. And that's in the championship game. I don't see the Thunder really putting up much resistance if they get to the championship. And I don't see Minnesota putting up much resistance, only because it's going to be their first year in that area of playing basketball, like almost 100 games in. Because if you get to the finals, you've played almost 18 more games, plus the 82. It won't be 18, but it'll feel like it, They may play 12. Let's say they just play 12 more. That's still 94 games. And once you get done playing that series, if you could push it 6, you will have played 100 games. Like, you can't tell me that that's not going to kind of wear on their body. Like, I think there will be some fatigue setting in for OKC and the Timberwolves. I think Denver will be ready for that, And so I don't think they seed really matters. Like I don't think if they don't win the top seed, it won't matter to them. Denver's gonna be the team that is experienced, been through it. They not gonna it's not gonna affect them much. Then at the 4 seed, you got the Clippers, and I said the Clippers may be a problem if they end up making the finals or Western Conference Finals because they have that experience. You got Kawhi Leonard, who has been there. They got that veteran experience. You got, Westbrook, who has been there and lost. You got Paul George, who's been as far as the Eastern Conference Finals and lost. So they know what it takes. They know how to, you got to know how to treat your body when it comes down to the end of the season. They understand what it's going to take to get there. So that's the top 4 in the West. After that, you got Dallas at number 5. You got the Pelicans at 6. And then in the play-in, which is surprising, you got Sacramento Kings. I would bank on either Sacramento or Phoenix not having to play in the play-in. My bad with all those play-ins right there. I would bank on them not having that issue. I think they're gonna be all right. The Lakers, I see them possibly getting to a 6 seed too, because right now, so from the 9th seed to the 6th seed, there's 1.5 games separating these teams. So and there's 77 games. So yeah, I mean, it's 5 games left in the NBA season. If they have to play the Pelicans once more, they could pull themselves within a half a game. And, it's anybody's game there, So I think that 6th seed is up for grabs. The Kings, the Suns, the Lakers, or the Pelicans could have that. And even the Mavericks might fall back down to earth and fall into that. But as far as the top 4 teams in the West, those teams are settled. You'll see the Clippers, the Thunder, Nuggets, and Timberwolves, in a pretty secure playoff position. I still wish that the Rockets could, kind of squeeze in there. They 8-2 in their last 10, but they lost their last 2. And Golden State, they hitting that championship pedigree dab on them. They in the last 10, they 7-3. They won 5 in a row. They not backing down. So I see them getting in there and doing their thing is in the 10th seed right there. So the play-in in the West gonna be interesting. It's gonna be, 2 just heavyweights, LeBron and Steph Curry going at it again probably. So that's gonna be dope to see. I mean, it was a really good series against those 2 guys when LeBron was with Cleveland, and they kept seeing each other in the finals for 3 years in a row. So I think this will be no difference for this one game. I think it'll be a very highly sought after, highly watched game. In conclusion, the playoffs is bunched up in the West, and outside of the top, man, nah, it ain't really outside of nothing. After 1 through 3, that's a bunch. Then 6 through 10 is fairly close as well. But it's only 5 games left, so it's pretty much over with all that coming back and sneaking back into spots. But it's just really close. The East Coast will be what it is. I just think Boston gonna run through it, barring injury. Let's put that caveat out there. If they get an injury, they screwed because they really top heavy. They don't have much depth. They traded away all their depth to be top heavy, but they top heaviness is superstar top heavy. So more than likely, Boston is going to come away with that, and you're going to have Boston versus whoever in the finals. Now, when the finals come, I mean, this is just me spitballing, but if Boston has to face Denver, they may not win that. But against most other teams outside of the Clippers and maybe the Lakers or the Warriors, I think, Boston probably wins this year's NBA championship. But the Nuggets are a good favorite to repeat. So thank y'all for checking me out. I mean, please hit that like and that subscribe button. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Sports Shorts and Passports, episode 3. Peace. We out.